Take a look.
No.
Hi everybody, how's everybody's morning, afternoon, evening, and night? So I just wanted to create this video for you guys just to talk about the PS5 Pro, what was going on with it, and pretty much I had to say I need to see what's going on with it, just out of curiosity. And of course I gotta put more information in the description and the pinned comments so you guys can see for yourselves on the videos, as well as like articles and everything else too, so you guys know ahead of time. So I did take the time and opportunity to most definitely watch the live stream of the video, stuff like that, of the PS5 Pro Technical Presentation hosted by Mark Cerny. And I do find the video presentation very much underwhelming, probably not too appealing. With nothing against Mark Cerny, to be fair, it's just that the PS5 Pro is very questionable at best. Best way I could describe it. So I went on my way to watch it, and of course it shows you like the PS5 Slim, as well as like the GPU and stuff like that and so on, which they did also talk about the big three, by the way. So before I try to jump onto that one, I kind of wanted to look at the option of the graphics mode that they talked about from like the OG PS5 and as well as the PS5 Slim. So I'm gonna go out of my way to jump onto the PS5 at the moment for a quick moment, and very much I just went to the settings of it, my PS5 settings. I went to the save data and game/app settings, and of course it's in the game presets, where it gives you like these kind of options of like difficulty, as well as like these ones here, which you could also do it in your system as well. Because they give you like the performance mode, resolution mode, especially game default as well, so whatever in-game settings that you use for your PS5 version of the game. So most of the time I usually just pick performance mode, to be fair, because it's kind of like my go-to sort of thing whenever it comes to certain games like the Neo games, like 1 and 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, as well as like Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, Miles Morales, as well as 2. And stuff like that, many examples, because it does have its own like, you know, in-game options of like whatever you wanted to use for your graphics mode for those games and etc., including third-party games, of course, which you can also like have like there's also like a few small number of third-party games on the PS5 version of it that would give you like a 120 option as well as 4K, but only like a few of them so far, not a whole lot. I checked them myself and pretty much found out the hard way. That's how I know for sure. So I'm gonna try and go out of my way to go back to the screen here, onto the video. So I checked that option as well, and then eventually I went to where the big three is and stuff like that. Which of course you'll notice that with like those kind of options there. They talked about like better GPU power, performance specifically. 67% compute units, 11% faster RAM, which I probably assume most likely they're trying to go for like an equivalency of between the RTX 4060 and maybe 4070, maybe between the two, I suppose. Maybe that's what they're targeting for. As well as like look at the advanced ray tracing, which I'm gonna probably like make out like a random guess and assume that they're probably gonna have like medium settings for the ray tracing. Which I'm going to assume and make a random guess. I could be wrong. Who knows? And then eventually I went to the PSSR, the PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, which the AI upscaling specifically. So I'm guessing that they're trying to have like less pixelation and more like smoothed out polygons and stuff like that, and better like depth of field, global illumination, and as well as other things too as well, which I'm pretty sure most PC people know what's going on, etc. And probably like better frame rates, I suppose, which I'm guessing they're trying to combine the fidelity mode with 60 frames, etc. So I thought, okay, that's pretty good. and I looked at a few and I did also went on my way to look at a few examples. So even though that one looks a little bit like slightly improved, but still that's a difference. So I'm like, okay. So I'm gonna get to where like the what the console looks like. So it's kind of like a more beefy version of PS5 Slim to what I'm looking at, as well as getting to where the pricing is. When I look at that pricing by the end of the video / live stream, it was like stupendously expensive for like $699 US, as well as like looking at other countries as well that could be pricey too, and etc. That could definitely cost an arm and a leg. And I did also went out of my way to go to another video of the demonstrations where they made a comparison between the PS5 Slim and the PS5 Pro, but except that the PS5 Pro is a little bit beefier than the Slim, to be fair, and etc. So I went out of my way to watch this video from CNET, which of course, just to keep you guys informed, that I did went out of my way to take the extra precautions just to watch out for copyright claims and whatever else is going to happen, and etc. So that's the sole reason why I decided to mute the video, just to be on the safe side, and etc. So I watched this video. I then went on my way to look at the attachment to the disk drive. So we got the launch PS5. Okay. So I want to look at it real quick. And then eventually I'm going to get to the one with the where the PS5 Slim is. That's the one. And I did also look at the specs of the PS5 Pro. And it says like Wi-Fi 7. And it has like an internal 2TB SSD. That's what I looked at. Same CPU. And also look at the GPU, which is a lot more improved. So it's a lot more like efficient. So I'm probably most likely between like RTX 4060 and 4070, I assume. And then eventually I'm gonna look at the demonstration on like the OG PS5 and being compared to the PS5 Pro over here. So he's basically saying like right over here is the like the PS5 Slim / OG PS5, and then there's one on top over here on this TV screen over here is the PS5 Pro. So eventually I did make sure to look at the one of the PS5 OG PS5 and Slim over here, which I made sure because I kind of looked at it very carefully. So I want to get to over there for a second. So I saw him play it first, just like that. So you see like brighter colors, but depending on the TV screen, on like the settings and whatsoever. So I'm not too certain. So I'm looking at it very carefully. He's playing that. Watched it very carefully. And then eventually the cameraman zoomed in a little bit more further, as I noticed that I probably assumed that they must have signed like an NDA, most likely, which I guess they didn't want to show too much because, you know, they're probably trying, I guess in Sony's trying to like finalize the PS5 Pro until it's actually like testing the waters and making sure everything's working properly just before launch and etc. Which I probably assumed that's why they kind of zoomed the camera a bit more towards him, because I guess they didn't want to show too much of the PS5 Pro stuff there. So I'm like, okay, good to know, and etc. So ultimately, once I finished watching this video, I did also went on my way to go to the PlayStation.com websites just to find more information, and everywhere else too as well. And pretty much we know that the pre-orders are going to be ready for September 26th. And then the official release date for the PS5 Pro console will be November 7th, 2024. So you guys know. So I made sure I look around, checking the PSSR, stuff like that. And of course, you got the optimized console performance, which kind of shows you like certain ones. Because it'll be like a few select games that'll be able to do like 120 frames on the console and stuff like that. Or probably have to wait and see what happens until it releases, until people get their hands on it, and who knows what will happen. And of course you have the ray tracing, but I'm gonna guess it's gonna be medium settings for the ray tracing. I'm gonna probably assume. And then there's these PS5 Pro enhanced games. So we see these ones so far. Like The Last of Us Part 1, Part 2, Demon Souls, Gran Turismo, of course Horizon 2, Forbidden West, Until Dawn, as well as like Rift Apart. And yeah, so we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with specific games that'll be supported by the PS5 Pro enhanced features, if it works, that is. So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, it tells you about the supported TVs and monitors. And then eventually I did look at the console itself, and it still uses that really silly, ridiculous, hold on. It still uses that really silly, ridiculous little hard plastic stands right over here, which you see with the PS5 Slim. Because those things kind of look like something out of like a hard plastic pizza top. Specifically, it's kind of like the kind of like a table with like with stubby little legs, where it actually like keeps like the top of the box of the pizza box from touching the pizza itself. That's the best way I could describe it. And I gotta tell you, those things look very flimsy and breakable. And even I have like general concerns about like the moments where it doesn't have like a non-slip, like rubber tips at least. So I'm not sure what they were thinking going back to the idea to use these things, because I think it's ridiculous. Like, why not like use the one that the OG PS5 stand has? It's kind of silly. So I had to be very critical of that, to be fair. Which I did also made a video talking about the PS5 Slim with this kind of issue as well as like the air ventilation and stuff like that, and etc. And then looking at the front of it, you have the USB Type-C. And at least with the air vents on this one, it's a little slightly improved over the PS5 Slim air ventilation. Just saying. Of course, you got the USB ports of 3.1, I assume. Wi-Fi 7, HDMI, etc. So I just try to look around as much as I can, as much as I could, and etc. Of course, controller, stuff like that, and so on. Audio stuff and etc. Okay, so eventually I went out of my way to check the specs again, just to make sure I'm not missing anything else as well. Of course, you got like the RDNA 3, as well as like the memory, as well as the storage, etc. Where you have the comparison between the two of them whatsoever. And also I did went out of my way to find out later on about the anniversary collection. So 30th anniversary collection specifically, which I found out later on. So you guys know ahead of time, which I was a little surprised. I was like, okay, that's cool. Celebrating this stuff, talking about the enhanced games on the PS5, backwards compatibility, and stuff like that. And I did also went on my way to check if it's going to be available in Canada, and pretty much the pricing in Canada is very expensive.
Jesus Christ.
For us. Like basically like over $1,000 specifically. It's going to cost us an arm and a leg, and I'm just like, oh boy. It's going to get so nasty. It was like, OMG. And then ultimately I decided to go out of my way to check the retailers to see if it's available, which to the best of my knowledge that Best Buy has it, in fact. And if I were to refresh the page, pretty much $959 for us, which I'm gonna probably go out of my way to whip out the calculator, which I kind of like used my calculator before I made this video, so you guys know. And yeah, so pretty much I'm gonna check on the pages, refresh them, see if they're available or not available. So far the vertical stand's available, and then as well as the disk drive, which is sold out, and etc. So I'm gonna try to go out of my way to whip out the calculator. And I did also have to mention that I kind of just like did it off camera, so you guys know at the time. So I'm gonna try to redo it again. So I'm gonna try to go out of my way to, like, say for example, if I wanted to like get the console itself without the disk drive and the vertical stand. So if I were to put the MSRP on that one, and try to multiply it with 13%. Oh, oops, hold on, I did it wrong. Forgot to like multiply it, by the way. So MSRP on that one, multiply it by 13%, which for us in my province is HST, by the way, so 13% tax. So you guys know ahead of time. So it'll be at least about $124.80 in tax. Okay. And added with that, 80 cents, yep. So the console itself with the controller without the vertical stand as well as the disk drive without them, it'll be about $1,084.79 for us. And then eventually, if I were to, excuse me. Anyway, so if I were to try to go out of my way to add on to the vertical stand as well as the disk drive, by example, since vertical stand is $40 for us, and the disk drive is about $100 for us as well. So I'm gonna go out of my way to calculate it again. So we're gonna get the console here, and it's added with $40. Oop. I have to put the dot on there too, by the way, since you got like dollars and cents. So $40 for the vertical stand, and then if I were to put $99 for that one for the disk drive, and then multiply it with taxes, which you got like that amount, raw amount of that, 13%, and do it like that. So it'll be about $143. Okay. In total. So if I were to put in that amount, I'll just make sure to check the history at the exact amounts, just to make sure. I might get it wrong sometimes, you know. Okay, we're good. Okay, and then if I add it with that, oh, wrong button. Blech. Okay, and then equal it. So probably at least about $1,240.97 for us, because I could be incorrect, which somebody could also go out of their way to correct me if I'm wrong. Just a little heads up, because I could be incorrect, so you guys know ahead of time. Nothing's perfect, but what can you do? So anyway, so it'll probably cost that much, because if I were to like add it with that stuff, at least just to double check to make sure, because I can go out of my way to go to the history of it. Because when I got the console itself, oh, hold on. Just to be certain, I want to double check to make sure. So I got like the MSRP of that. I got that much by the console by itself. Let me get my face out of the way. So if I were to get like the console by itself, it'll be that amount at least. And then if I were to get it with the accessories and stuff like that, if I were to add it on there plus taxes, it'll be approximately that amount at least. Just be certain, because I want to know what I want to double check to make sure I got calculated properly, because I have a certain feeling I was like something's off, so it should be okay, but I could be wrong though. What can you do? And also I did also went out of my way to jump onto eBay as well, which I jump onto there, and I gotta tell you, the scalpers be scalping. And even what's even more outrageous is that they're willing to go over $2,000. And even if you include the conversion rates, because for us in Canada, it'd be at least about like over $3,000. It's insane. And I think to myself, what an unholy audacity and this travesty thought it was a bright idea to make it overpriced as possible, just to price gouge the bejeebus out of it. It's insane. And if I were to go to these pages by example, if I were to go to them right now, because it's actually being like 5 of them being sold right now. It's really ridiculous. They be scalping so hard, and of course they scooped up the slim drive and stuff like that. I'm looking at as many as I can, and this is the one I was gonna talk about too as well. It's really crazy. It's insane. that they're willing to go to great lengths and push it that far, even though it's in US dollars, but still for us in Canada, it's like very expensive, stupidly expensive. Because I look around as many times as possible. I try to look everywhere to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge. And I was looking, and these prices are very crazy and very outrageous. Because no matter how bad you want this PS5 Pro, for whatever reason, I would say do not buy from these scalpers. Just don't. It's not worth it. Because I try to scroll to the page as many times as possible to see how worse it can get. Because basically, just to keep in mind, I just try to look everywhere. Just to be specific with you guys. It's crazy. With these outrageous prices. They be scalping so hard. With no honor. And I gotta tell you, it's completely crazy that they're scooping up these things. Just shameless. It's really sad and unfortunate, really. Just want to browse the page for you guys just in case. It's very crazy. Just to be certain. So you guys know ahead of time, etc. And yeah, it even what's even more outrageous that they're willing to go to freaking 4,000 blasted dollars.
You are a factory of sadness!
It's crazy. Even though it's in British pounds, but still. Nearly 4,000 Canadian dollars, plus taxes too, by the way. Even though you have like shipping as well. It's crazy. They're willing to go that far. To go over 4,000 bucks too. It was completely outrageous. It was disgustingly like, ugh. It was horrifying to look at, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably like 10 times worse than like having to pay the highway toll, to be fair. I was like, oh my god. That is just disgustingly shameless. Willing to go to great lengths to go over 4,000 freaking dollars. Completely outrageous, dude. Completely outrageous. So I'm just trying to like browse the page as much as I can, however I could. Because just to keep in mind that I try to look at the worst of the worst. Because it could be exactly just like from 4 years ago, which I'll get to that very soon. So you guys know ahead of time, because we're almost near the end of the video. So you guys know. Because I think we're at the end of the page right now. Alright, let me just make sure to check. Because we're almost close to the bottom of the page there. Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay, so anyway. So pretty much scalpers be scalping. Which do not buy from scalpers. They are a nasty bunch. So I'm going to go out of my way to jump onto where my tweet is. Whereas keep in mind that this was like about almost 4 years ago. Where those scalpers be scalping. And I'm going to go to the one that all the way back in September. That's where I want to get to. I'm pretty sure I have it. Because I had like the receipts for it too, by the way. So yeah, there we go. So I basically got the original PS5 Pro. Excuse me, I almost said Pro for no reason. So I got myself the original PS5 from back in like September 16th. So basically about over 4 years ago. So you guys know ahead of time. So basically like when the scalping came into effect, it was nuts. So pretty much originally the price for us in Canada from the original PS5 for me, from my perspective, originally it was $629.99 plus taxes too. HST, by the way. So it came to a total of like $711.89. So you guys know at the time, which I only like bought like the console itself and the controller, and that's pretty much it, as well as like a few games as well, separately at least. So that's what happened. So eventually, once I was able to get the pre-order, secured it, and then next you know, the next day it was very hectic because we were able to like get it from like Best Buy and other stuff too. So when it went from the September 16th of 2020 to September 17th 2020, that's when everything gone insane. It was like out of control because people were pretty much freaking out because the scalpers were scooping it up like crazy. It was insane, and people were talking about it on YouTube at that time, by the way. So I did went out of my way to let people know on Twitter as soon as possible after I secured it, just to get it as soon as you can. Who knows what'll happen, and etc. And that's what happened since then. And then also, of course, I showed the where I got it with the amounts. That's what it originally cost for us in Canada from back in 4 years ago. And then eventually, once it actually arrived and stuff like that, I was able to get the box of it, which is pretty much like it came as soon as possible. Which I did also went on my way to get myself a free camera adapter for my PSVR 1, by the way, so it's make it backwards compatible and stuff like that. So ultimately, I was able to get the console, which it came on November 12th, by the way. So you guys know at that time. I think it says like, oh, that's fine. Anyway, I thought it said like Tuesday or something. So anyway, so I got the box itself with the console and the controller itself. And of course, I used to have that original box, by the way, but ultimately I had to get rid of it because I had to clean up the room. Basically, I had to clean up the house and stuff like that. So that's the sole reason why I got rid of the box, which I remember pretty well when it said 8K right there. That was like technically like 100% like pretty much misinformation right there from Sony itself, because I thought it was like inaccurate. So there was no possible way that, because I probably assumed that there's no possible way for the original PS5 to be able to pull off 8K, which I think is kind of just like probably not true. So it's mismarketing right there for the 8K right there, which it could do like 4K and 60, but 8K, no. So I did it from before. From in the past, I got myself these games physically and stuff like that. So I kind of decided to, like, you know, probably give it away, sell it, whatever I got to do. Which, again, I had to clean my house from back last year and stuff like that, all kinds of craziness and so on. And I did also got it out of the box. And keep in mind that this was like from 4 years ago, so you guys know ahead of time. Because even though like my house was a bit messy, I still had to clean it from last year. It was very messy. So that's a huge of it. It's pretty much the size of it and stuff like that. It was pretty big though, I gotta say. And this was also my old HD TV, by the way, which I had it since like 2009. And ultimately, I kind of just gave it away to a relative at some point in time just to get myself like a 4K TV, which I kind of use once in a while, but you know, it's what it is. But ultimately, majority of the time, I tend to use like my PC monitor most of the time, which is the Asus 4K monitor with 144 hertz, so you guys know at the time, and etc. So that's what happened. And that's pretty much it. And also, I'm gonna go on my way to go on to PCpartpicker as well, to just do a little quick little stuff for it, just to make a just to end the video so you guys know at a time, which I'm going to go out of my way to very much show you my current build of my PC right now, which I'm gonna probably like do like a bit of a quick little time lapse and stuff like that and so on. So I better get to it right about now. Alright, so yeah, so pretty much this is what my current PC build is, which keep in mind, so you guys know ahead of time, that I pretty much built my PC back in June 2014, so basically about over 10 years ago. So it's probably not my first time building a PC, so you guys know, which I did had like a little bit of help as well, just to sort out the cable management and stuff like that. Because I did ultimately upgrade it from like a mid-tower PC to a full tower PC, so I can get some room, clean up the thing properly, inside, outside, etc. Just to vacuum stuff. So pretty much this is my current PC build is right now, as well as like the CPU, cooler, motherboard, and everything else too. And I will eventually go to my Twitch channel just for a better description in case I miss anything else in here. So I have like this kind of thing, as well as the memory, which I have 2 of the RAM sticks, by the way, which may be a bit overkill, but you know, because there are times and moments that I had to deal with certain games that were very demanding in power, so I had to get prepared until then, like with Black Myth Wukong, as well as like having like Hogwarts Legacy, the Callisto Protocol, as well as many other examples that are like very much like power demanding and stuff like that, and so on. And of course the NVMe SSD drives. And I also went on my way to very much get myself a GPU, which I did used to have like a RTX 2060 from EVGA, and upgraded to a Asus ROG Strix GPU, which I did ultimately have created a video talking about why I got myself an RTX 3090 instead of a 4090 series. So the sole reason why I never bothered with like getting a 4090 or any other 4000 RTX 4000 series GPU cards, because due to the fact of budget reasons, and there were times and moments when I finally got myself an RTX 3090, I kind of just wanted to skip over the 4000 series, because I don't want to like get like one GPU and next thing you know I can't be able to afford another one. So that's the sole reason why I kind of decided to skip over it and probably see what happens with their successor of the RTX 5000 series GPU and stuff like that. So I will put more information in the description so you guys know, and pin comments as well. And of course I got myself a full tower PC from Corsair, which unfortunately I couldn't be able to get the black version of it, so I went with the white version because they had it available on sale. And I also went on my way to get the power supply unit as well, and stuff like that, and etc. Of course Windows 10 I have. And I also got like this monitor here that I'm currently using right now. So it's the 4K 144 hertz PC monitor, so you guys know at that time. And I'm gonna quickly jump onto my Twitch channel right now. Okay, here's my Twitch channel right now. So anyway, so I got more information over here on my Twitch channel just for better description as well. So pretty much this is what I put on there. So this is like my CPU, cooler, motherboard, which actually it turns out to be like a X570 Pro right here. I put in the wrong thing apparently by accident, etc. I can always fix it. And of course this is the one I have, the RTX 3090. And I still have like two monitors, by the way, I forgot to mention. Of course the full tower PC, power supply unit, and also getting like the SATA SSD, hard drive, as well as the other stuff too, and etc. So you guys know ahead of time, and etc. So pretty much that's what happened. And I did also went on my way to compare it with the PS5 Pro, and to be honest, that's my PC build would most likely probably overpower the thing, to be fair. And I did also like double check it and stuff like that and so on, to be fair, so you guys know at that time. And I'm gonna go out of my way to conclude the video. So overall, I would say, from my opinion, from my perspective, since I have an original PS5 console, I don't really feel enticed to get myself or upgrade to the PS5 Pro, which is gonna be great for those that are missing it, that didn't have a chance to get a PS5 from before, so they could have the opportunity for new people. And for the ones that already have the PS5 consoles, then you know it's up to you whether you want to upgrade or not. But from my point of view, I don't really see myself upgrading to it or replacing my old PS5 console, to be fair, because you know I just have to be realistic. Because you know, if I already have like the PS5 console, then why do I don't really see the point of me just jumping onto the PS5 Pro at all. So I'm like, I'm good. And we'll probably have to wait and see what happens with the PS5 6, if they're making one, that is. We'll probably have to wait and see what happens within the next few years or so, whatsoever, and etc. Just in my opinion. So pretty much, I just wanted to create this video for you guys, just because I wanted to see what's going on with the PS5 Pro and put in my final thoughts into it. And I don't really see myself getting myself a PS5 Pro, despite it being very expensive, despite having a great improvement with the GPU power and stuff like that and so on. But still, having to share my fair share of criticism of those little toothpicks, of those hard plastic rubbers, well, hard plastic transparent ones that try to hold the console horizontally and stuff like that. Especially having to like buy like the stand and the disk drive separately. It was kind of like very strange, which I guess they never bothered with like having like two versions of it, of having like one for the digital edition of it, and as well as having the physical edition as well. So it's kind of really strange, because we see that with the original PS5 as well as the Slim, that has like both of the versions of like digital and physical, and it from OG PS5, and then we see the same thing with Slim, but we don't see that with PS5 Pro. So it's very strange that they made the decision like that. So I guess they're trying to go for like the all digital future stuff, which it kind of concerns me too as well. So you guys know at that time, and etc. So I'm gonna conclude the video. So I'd like to thank you all so much for watching my video. And of course, once again, I'm gonna put more information in the description and the pinned comments, so you guys can see for yourself about the articles, videos, everything else too, and what I discussed and everything else, and as well as including my tweets from 4 years ago and stuff like that, so you guys know at that time, including the PC part picker and etc. So I'd like to thank you all so much for watching my video. So I hope everybody has a very great morning, afternoon, evening, and night, as well as staying safe. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care.